It's possible that that controversial music video helped take down some of New York City's most corrupt bureaucrats and politicians. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Underreported Stories, where we cover the news that CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News fail to report on or don't report on enough. And not a lot of people have heard about the countless investigations into New York City Mayor Eric Adams' inner circle. But very few people have heard how pop star Sabrina Carpenter may have contributed to taking down one of those inner circle members. Big update in this story. I recorded this video on Wednesday, and then the next day, it broke that Mayor Eric Adams was indicted on criminal bribery charges. So we'll get into that later in the show, but just keep that in mind or in the back of your head as you listen to how Sabrina Carpenter, of all people, played a role in this. Let's start with the Sabrina of it all. In October of 2023, she posted the music video to her song, Feather. It's a certifiable bop, but the music video was very racy. She was wearing this tiny black dress inside of an iconic Brooklyn church with props that said things like, "Rip, bitch." In the video, she also parades around in like tiny outfits and then wonders why men are staring at her like, I wonder why.
We'll put some clothes on.
And then there's also one part where she's trying to get revenge on a man talking to her in an elevator and she murders him. Wholesome messaging here, obviously. Side note, I do think that artists would just be so much better off in the public's perception if they stopped making crazy-ass music videos. They're always just weird and bad. But anyway, the backlash from that Feather music video led to an investigation into the church leadership for approving this video in the first place. The church ended up relieving Father Jamie Gigantiello from his administrative duties for failing to do due diligence on Sabrina Carpenter before approving the music video shoot. And remember this guy, Father Jamie. Father Jamie said that the production crew, Sabrina's production crew, misled the church and made it seem like the video would be shot just outside of the building, not in the consecrated space indoors. This is a statement that Father Jamie ultimately made. While I take full responsibility for the erroneous decision to allow the filming, I want to assure you that I had no knowledge that such a scene would be filmed in our church, which we worked so hard to restore to its present sacred beauty. The church did make $5,000 from Sabrina Carpenter's production crew, and they claim that they gave that money to a crisis pregnancy center. And that's kind of where we all thought the story would end. Wrong. Turns out the investigation into Father Jamie over his handling of the Sabrina Carpenter video tipped the feds off to investigate Father Jamie's alleged corruption as part of a broader investigation into Eric Adams' inner circle. Federal prosecutors subpoenaed Father Jamie's former Brooklyn church, again, the one seen in Sabrina Carpenter's music video, and the subpoena was seeking information about dealings between Father Jamie and Eric Adams' former chief of staff, Frank Carone. It's unclear what the feds meant by dealings, but it's clear that the feds believe there's potential corruption or foul play and outside business done between the former chief of staff and Father Jamie. So here's how it all ties together. The New York Post reached out to that Brooklyn church looking for more information on the subpoena and whether the church had any more information it would be willing to share. The officials at the church responded to the Post email by sending over a statement linked to an internal investigation over Sabrina Carpenter's music video. In that same statement, the church alluded to the federal investigation of Father Jamie, implying that the initial investigation into Sabrina Carpenter's music video potentially led to the federal probe we see taking place. My guess is that the initial investigation into Father Jamie over his poor discretion on letting Sabrina film at the church uncovered some other things that we've yet to fully know about. So love or hate that music video, it probably contributed to an investigation that could take down some of the most corrupt people in New York City. Who would have thunk it? And Father Jamie is relatively small balls in this massive investigation into corruption in New York City. After hearing about this connection, I realized that there were dozens of members of Eric Adams' administration that have been subpoenaed, raided, and had their phones, iPads, computers, all the devices taken from them as part of investigation. And there are grand juries in place, guys. That means there's likely indictments for criminal activity coming. And indictments there are.
They're busted.
It was unsealed that Mayor Eric Adams was indicted for bribery, conspiracy, fraud, and soliciting illegal foreign campaign donations. The biggest claim in this 5-count indictment that I'm looking at right now is that Eric Adams illegally funneled money from the Turkish government in exchange for the approval of a Turkish consulate in Midtown Manhattan. He also allegedly took $123,000 in bribes, free flights, and other ritzy perks. But here are 4 other big investigations happening outside of Eric Adams or adjacent to Eric Adams, as well as Father Jamie. First is the allegation that the New York Police Department's commissioner was enacting a pay-to-play scheme for businesses, telling them that they would receive better police services if these businesses hired the commissioner's brother as a consultant. Edward Cabin was the NYPD commissioner, and his brother James was a former NYPD officer. James was fired in 2001 for threatening a cab driver. So a Brooklyn juice bar owner came forward and alleged that the police told the juice bar owner he'd receive better treatment from the police if he hired James Cabin as a consultant. After the accusations and the federal investigation began, Edward Cabin resigned as NYPD commissioner, and James Cabin has, quote, unequivocally denied any wrongdoing. Obviously, public services shouldn't be extorted or used as a pay-to-play system, but my red flag is up because there's no way the feds care about one incident like that. This must be even bigger, and we just don't know it yet. Investigation number 2 is into 3 brothers that Eric Adams tapped to oversee the city's public schools and the police department. Adams tapped Philip Banks to be his deputy mayor for public safety, and he tapped David Banks as the school's chancellor. The Banks have a 3rd brother named Terrence Banks who worked for a consulting firm that connected businesses to key government officials. According to public records, the companies that hired Terrence Banks, the 3rd brother, when they hired him as a consultant, they received millions of dollars in city contracts because it's alleged that the brothers would spend state money on contracts that would enrich the brother Terrence. Again, these are allegations that the family has denied. The 3rd biggest investigation in New York City right now has little details on the actual criminality, but it's clear that the feds are investigating a man named Tim Pearson, who was tasked with approving contracts for the city's migrant shelters. One of Tim Pearson's close associates was subpoenaed to testify in front of a grand jury, which means they think he's done something wrong. And the final investigation is into 2 high-ranking fire chiefs. They were arrested on charges that they solicited tens of thousands of dollars in bribes from people. The fire department's Safety Inspection Bureau, these are the people that come and check to make sure everything's up to code, they would allegedly give preferential treatment for fire inspections to anybody that was willing to pay. Obviously illegal, obviously a pay-to-play scheme, and obviously a violation of New Yorkers' trust. So clearly there's a massive bribery ring being investigated throughout the city of New York, and one teeny tiny pop star helped uncover more of it. Wild, right?
Unbelievable.
If you're a real one and you made it to the end of the show, will you drop the music notes emoji in the comments so I know you made it to the end? Thanks, friends. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you heard, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment about how beautiful, stunning, and funny I am. And if you want more content based in logic, be sure to click over here for more videos and clips of my show. If you have the means to financially support the show, consider purchasing from my merch line, Based Apparel, linked right below. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.